Look, you've spent a lot of time improving Finn. The numbers are moving in the right direction. Now it's time to show the people who matter what this actually means for our business. But it's not good enough to just hand them a performance report of Finn because they don't think in terms of automation rate or resolution rate. They think in terms of cost, revenue, risk, growth. So we need to translate Finn's impact into terms that they understand. To help you with this, we've made some slides to help you tell the story. It's broken up into four parts. One helps you articulate how Finn is performing and what that actually means for the business. Two helps you show the customer side of the story. Three shows what Finn is giving back to your team. And four helps you frame where you are now, where you're going next, and what you need to get there. Now, these slides are here to inspire you, so use them as they are, or for inspiration, or just make your own. The key thing to remember is the idea of translating or framing things for your audience. For instance, you don't want to say our automation rate is 32%. You need to be more explicit. Instead, say 32% of all our support volume is now handled by AI. It's just clearer. Similarly, for resolution rate, don't just say our resolution rate is 48%. Instead, say Finn handles 48% of everything it touches from start to finish. Now, these slight changes in framing make these metrics much easier to understand. Your stakeholders are never going to be in the weeds as much as you are. So make your life and theirs easier by making sure each metric has enough context. Okay, we're ready to dive into the deck. So the first slide is all about what Finn is handling. It starts with the most important numbers, the total number of conversations last month, how many of those Finn resolved, and what percentage of our total volume is AI now handling. Below this then, we have a breakdown that goes deeper. It shows how many conversations Finn is involved in versus how many it's not. And of the ones it's involved in, how many did it resolve? How many required a human in the loop? How many did it hand off to your team by design? And how many could it not answer and had to escalate? Now, this breakdown helps you tell the full story of how Finn is performing and what's actually happening inside every conversation Finn touches. Next, we're going to frame this in terms of the economics. Here's what it would have cost if our team had handled those conversations. And here's what it actually cost when we used Finn. And at the bottom, you can see the net total savings for this month. That's 78% less than what it usually would have cost us. This makes it easy for stakeholders to understand the impact that Finn is having. And we're going to go even further here with the what this means section. It's divided up into what this means for the company, what this means for the function, and what this means for the team. So for the company, support no longer limits how fast we scale. A third of our volume went through Finn this month and cost us 22K less than the same work used to. For the support function, we got through a busy month with our SLAs intact and no overtime because Finn resolved a third of our conversations before they ever reached our team. And for the team, that's 6,400 repetitive FAQs that they didn't have to get involved in, freeing them up for complex queries that need a human touch. Now, this section is arguably the most important section on each slide. It's where we translate the metrics into a story that our execs can easily understand. Okay, we're going to move on and do a brief overview of the rest of the deck, but we won't be going into the same amount of depth as this first slide. So slide 2 tells the customer side of the story. We start with real customer quotes from CSAT surveys and Trustpilot at the top. These show what the actual experience feels like for the people on the other end of it. Now, below that, we have customer experience. The overall CSAT score split into Finn and human, then the CX score and first response time. And once again, we're going to use the what this means section to translate everything on this slide. This makes it easy for our execs to see the impact of Finn at these various different levels. It's going to tell a more cohesive story than just the high level metrics. Okay, on to slide 3. This is all about what Finn is giving back. How many hours has it saved our team? And how many people would we have had to hire to do the same? Below that is what the team is doing now, focusing on complex work and the metrics that relate to it. And underneath is where we're investing next. Before again finishing off with the what this means section. So those first 3 slides were all about explaining Finn's impact. This next slide is more of a roadmap. It's about framing where we are now, where we're going to go next, and what we actually need in order to get there. The progress bar at the top sets the context, where we are right now at 32%, and then the next milestone, which is 52%. And further down than that, we have our long-term goal or our ceiling. Below that, we're listing the 4 initiatives that are going to get us to our next milestone and a breakdown of how much automation each one is worth. And the final part of the slide are the asks. These are specific, concrete things that we need tied directly to the initiatives above, as well as the cost of standing still if we don't go after these things. So the conversation isn't about just what you need, it's about what's at stake if we don't get it. And that's the deck. But to be honest, the deck itself isn't really the point. This whole exercise is about taking what's happening in support and connecting it to the things that leadership care about. So ask yourself, what do my stakeholders care about most? What's going on in the company right now? What are our goals? And then try to explain Finn's performance in terms of these things. Because when you actually make that connection between like what Finn is doing and what the business is trying to achieve, it becomes really easy for your stakeholders to see the value that you're delivering and understand why they should invest in it more.